To whoever it concerns, making this video for Briggs, but this is going to be a distributor maintenance tutorial. We're going to cover your cap, your rotor, and your points. The tools you're going to need is a feeler gauge. This is 16 thousandths, I can see it. There we go. You need a flathead screwdriver. You need sandpaper. I like these emery boards because I can toss it in my toolbox and it doesn't get beat up. And you'll need a wrench too. I don't have one because this isn't in the engine, but you'll need that to turn the crankshaft in a little bit. I'll show you why. But when you look down on your engine, you'll see the rotor cap there with all the wires sticking out. I'm going to pop these guys off. You're going to look down inside your cap. And if you look in those copper connections, you'll see that it's all blackened. That's from electrical spark going from your rotor to those connections and arcing out. What you want to do is you want to let's put this down for a second. You want to get your emery board and get in there and clean it up so the whole thing shines like a brand new penny. You want it to be clean and perfect, because otherwise it's not going to send out, carry as much of a spark as it should. Clean all four of those, and your cap's good. If it's really arced out, you know, get a new cap. They're not that expensive. And with any of these things, always Bosch. This is a rotor. It's not for this distributor. This is for a much older one. This is the only one I could find right now. There's 2 points of wear on this. The first is the center button, and the other is the end here. Now this is the same on your rotor as well. What you're going to want to do is you want to get in here with some sandpaper and clean that. That's actually copper, believe it or not. Yours is going to appear much more so than this. This one's 50 years old. So you're going to clean that off, and you sand the end of this. I already sanded the end of this one. You can see how bright it gets. It was the same color as this, so clean that off. And then your rotor's good to go. Put that aside. The final thing that we're going to talk about is your points. Now, say points actually refers to this whole contraption here. It's adjusted using this screwdriver, and what you're actually going to be adjusting is this gap right in here. You can see how it opens and shuts. That's adjusted using this screwdriver. Now, as I was saying earlier, I don't have a wrench because this isn't in the engine, but basically what you want to do, this is going to be, see if I can get it so it's easily visible. What we're looking for is on this armature, the distributor armature, there's lobes. It goes around. You can see, as I turn it around, kind of hard since I got it sitting here, but it opens and shuts those points. That's what we're going to be adjusting. So what you want to do is use your wrench on your crankshaft and turn your crankshaft pulley until this ends up high on a lobe. You want it as high as possible with the gap open as much as it can get. One of the things that you want to be looking out for is inside of these points. It's really hard to get at, but right inside of here, the face of this side and the face of this side will sometimes build up a little weld between them, and you want to use that emery board again and sand that clean, because you don't want a bad connection. Again, if it's really bad, just get new points, and as with the cap and the rotor, always Bosch. So the next step is, once it's on that high-low, is to loosen this screwdriver, or loosen this screw up with your screwdriver, and you'll see that the points have closed all the way. There's no more gap here anymore, and that's because this whole contraption's loose. Now, let's see if I can do this here. Basically what you want to do is you want to take your 16 thousandths feeler gauge, get it wedged up in that gap there. And if you notice, you can move this 2 ways. You can move the base plate, which is what you want to do, and you can move this part, which is not what you want to do. This part, you want this little block sitting against that lobe all the time. So what you do is you move the base plate, Stick that guy in there. Make sure everything's up against where it's supposed to be. And then just tighten that screw back down. And that's basically it. So how do you test so you make sure you had it? Okay, well this is a 16 thousandths. So I put it in a little gap. And you got a little tiny bit of drag and it doesn't open and shut. As long as it's 16 thousandths and you can just pull it just a little bit and this little bump is on the lobe of the distributor armature, you'll be all set. And you put your cap and your rotor back on with all their new shiny brand new contacts and you're pretty much good to go. One of the other things you do is when you replace your points, you also replace your condenser if you have one. Make sure you get the right one. Sometimes this hole is square, sometimes it's round, and you want to make sure you get the right set of points and the right condenser for your distributor. This one, as it turns out, is from a late 70s bus with fuel injection, and it's for a 2 liter, so it's exactly the same as an air-cooled Vanagon. So that's your basic maintenance on your distributor. I hope that's helpful. Good luck.